Mike Cardano with Roto Experts in the Fantasy Sports Network, here with our top tournament daily fantasy plays for Week 12, as we strive to find NFL players with big upside and potential low ownership to help you separate from the field and climb your tournament leaderboard in daily fantasy. As we always do, let's get it started with the quarterback position, where this week Kyle Orton is playing in the lowest projected game total of the weekend, just 39.5 points against the Jets, and he's coming off a dreadful performance against the Dolphins in a nationally televised game. Now, both of these factors are going to work against Orton's ownership rate. The Jets' elite run defense forces opposing teams to throw the ball, and the Bills sport an inefficient running game that should also help feed Orton's opportunities. Now, when these two teams met just a few weeks ago, Orton threw for 4 touchdowns and 238 yards in just 17 attempts. It's the only game Orton has started this season in which he's attempted less than 38 passes. Given the high expected volume in the Jets' weak pass defense, Orton becomes a viable, low-cost tournament option. Jonas Gray will be on the minds of most owners after his breakout performance on Sunday night, but this week's matchup feels like a better one for Shane Vereen. Now, the Lions have allowed just 3 yards per carry this season and the fewest rushing yards of any team in the league, 68.8 per game. They have, however, allowed the 9th most receptions to running backs in the league and the 4th most yards. This sets up well for Shane Vereen, who has consistently seen more snaps against top-ranked run defenses. He averages 37.8 snaps per week overall, but against top 10 run defenses, he's averaging 46 snaps per game. Vereen's floor is unusually low for a running back because he's so dependent on the passing game, but the upside is worth the price tag in tournaments. Ladies and gentlemen, let me make the case for Tre Mason. Now, he's got quite a bit of risk to him, no doubt, and he doesn't contribute much in the passing game, and as a result, he's kind of game script dependent. On top of that, the Rams are going on the road to face a good Chargers team, and there is some risk that Mason doesn't get the carries he needs to post a big day. The good news is he's earned 67% or more of the Rams' carries in 4 of the last 5 games. He's established himself as the lead back in St. Louis, and he's run effectively against good run defenses. Now, the Rams are just 5-point underdogs, which suggests that the game will stay within reason and the Rams won't have to abandon the run. The Chargers rank just 19th in Pro Football Focus's run defense rankings, and Mason is a scant $4,200. In this case, I think the reward outweighs the risk, making Tre Mason a nice tournament option. Kenny Stills should see increased snaps with the injury to Brandon Cooks. He's 3rd on the team with 41.4 snaps per week, and he should see that number rise closer to 60 snaps this week. He'll face a Ravens secondary that lost their best corner in Jimmy Smith, and they've struggled to find a replacement. The Saints are home favorites in the game, with the 3rd highest total this week, making Stills one of the better wide receiver values with the kind of upside we seek out in tournaments. Now, Mike Evans is clearly the best wide receiver in Tampa, but as he's surged away from Vincent Jackson, his price tag has also risen accordingly. Jackson has seen the 4th most deep targets in the league, and he's seen just 1 fewer deep target than Mike Evans. Now, he's only secured 4 of the 23 targets for catches, which is why he's been terrible most of the season. Now, the opportunities are there for Jackson, and the matchup against a Bears defense that ranks 26th in Pro Football Focus's pass coverage rankings is ripe. Charles Clay has been noticeably more involved in the passing game in the last 3 weeks, racking up 17 receptions on 23 targets. He faces a Broncos defense that has allowed the 9th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends and averages the most pass attempts per game, 42.3. Now, the Broncos have yielded the 2nd most receptions and targets to the tight end position. With Clay's role emerging, he's got a nice floor, and his price point is right next to Martellus Bennett and Larry Donnell, who have both outscored Clay on a per-game basis this season. As a result, I think he'll be under-owned with a similar floor and ceiling. For a more in-depth analysis on market share leaders for the rest of the season, head on over to rotoexperts.com and sign up for the Daily Fantasy Football Package. Our experts, Drew Dinkmeyer and Mike Leone, get you ready each week with strategy articles and site-specific cheat sheets and recommendations that highlight the top value plays each week, and they send you updated injury information right to your inbox with our lineup alerts feature. Become a member of the Daily Fantasy Rundown team at rotoexperts.com by signing up for the Daily Fantasy Football Package. For Roto Experts and the Fantasy Sports Network, I'm Mike Cardano.